How's it going out there? This is Feed Your Mind and Soul. Clones, right? Now, when you look at these guys, Travis Scott and ASAP Rocky, they look very similar. I remember when ASAP first came out. Well, no, when Travis Scott first came out, I believe ASAP was already out at the time. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this Travis Scott guy just was all of a sudden a celebrity. He was all over the place. It was like almost overnight. And I was like, every time I saw him, I was like, wait, you mean ASAP Rocky, right? I was like, I remember the paparazzi used to give Travis Scott a hard time. I remember that's when I first really heard about him was because they were calling him ASAP, and I think he would lose his temper a lot of times when the paparazzi would be like, ASAP, ASAP, and it's really Travis Scott. And I think they were genuinely messing up. I don't think they were just trolling him all the time. I think they really mistook him for ASAP Rocky. After you get to learn the character, after you get to learn Travis Scott and ASAP as individuals, you can kind of start telling the difference and you don't really think about it as much. I think that's kind of the same thing with identical twins. It's like you can kind of start telling them apart after you get to know them. And that's about the only reason why you can tell them apart is if you know them more than just seeing them at a glance. So, I mean, even the Island Boys, this new group, Overnight Sensation, I covered them about a week ago or something, and these guys look like clones too. I mean, I know it looks like they have a backstory and they're like brothers or whatever, but if they weren't brothers, they would definitely have the clone rumors too. I covered Kodak Black, Britney Spears, Gucci Man, but it wasn't until I came across this Donald Marshall guy, and that's when I really started to understand that there could be something to this clone stuff. Because before that, I was pretty much dismissing a lot of the information. I wasn't really dismissing it. Because that's not a very smart thing to do, is just dismiss things. So I kind of I'll listen to things, but I won't pay too much attention to it unless I find there to be something to it. So for a lot of years, I would just hear this clone stuff, and I wouldn't really think too much about it because I was thinking why would they clone an artist? Like that just sounded why would they even? I had these questions it didn't make much sense to me. Why would they do that? Why would they? I was just thinking nah, it didn't seem plausible. But when this Donald Marshall guy broke it down, that's when I really started to get it. He broke it down real good. I mean, I think he went in for about an hour, maybe 2 hours in one episode and just laid it all out and explained everything when it comes to clones. And it had more to do with, it didn't seem to be just scientific. Like maybe in his eyes, but from what he was describing, it sounded like it had to do with soul transfer and stuff like that. And then I started having more questions. That's when I did the deeper research. And look, you can find all my research on clones in the comment section in the description box. I'll leave a link and you can click on that and find all my research on clones and get up to date on everything that I figured out about clones. And it's a lot of information. So yeah, there could be something to it. I mean, Travis Scott, like I said, he came out of nowhere, just overnight. Now they got these two guys, the Island Boys. They look like twins, but that was another group that just kind of came out overnight. So, I mean, I had no idea where Travis Scott came from. It was just like he was just all of a sudden there, and then I mean, you could almost have if ASAP filled in for Travis Scott at a show or vice versa, I don't think too many people would know the difference, especially if they played it off right. If they, if they took their time to make sure there was no discrepancies or anything, it wouldn't take much to pull that off, and nobody would know the difference. And I just want to cover this with you real quick. It's not just celebrities. No, it's politicians and Hollywood in general. There's a lot of clone rumors. So, Yeah, I mean, it looks like they could be perfecting that craft. I mean, so as far as music is concerned, I mean, why would they want to spend any time doing clones with music? Well, if they did do it with music, and if this stuff is true, it would have to do probably with the music industry itself. I mean, there's a lot of benefits for the secret societies to be dealing with music. I mean, it has to do with the influence they have over people, especially the youth. You know, they get a lot of the youth are influenced by what they see these artists doing. They can, it, they copy how they dress, they copy how they talk and walk, and even how they think. So there's a lot of benefits to these secret societies to deal with the music industry. And then the secret societies deal with politicians, like I said, and I could really see the benefits of clones with politicians for sure. And maybe they use the music industry to kind of practice pushing out their work into public and seeing if if they can actually pull this off. They can start with the artist and perfect it, make sure that people aren't figuring it out. So like with the clones, like they don't look exactly alike. And that's the thing I discovered with clones is they don't always look exactly alike. It's not always a replica, identical replica. Like there's all types of various options for clones. Like they can do the identical replica thing, but they got to grow the body. From what I've understood, I've even, I've brainstormed on and did some research on if they can clone an adult person. And from the research I remember, I mean, it was basically, they definitely have to grow it from scratch, but it sounded like there was technology to where they can grow adults now. Like they can have the cells. It starts off with the cells on a cellular level, and then they can have these cells duplicate and form into a full-grown human. I've heard, I've done a little research, and it sounds like they can do that now. Kind of like if you saw Marvel, the Marvel movie, The Avengers, with Ultron, he was able to create Vision as a full grown, he is a robot, but it was a full grown, a full grown being. And so, I don't know, there's like a chamber. It would be kind of like a chamber, like maybe a coffin type chamber where they could possibly grow a full grown human. And it would, they leave it in there and it just forms with whatever they do to make it form. I know for sure they say they can grow a clone from a baby, though. That's like the most common thing is growing the clone from a baby. It would be born in a womb and then, or in a lab or in a, jar or whatever. However they can simulate a birth. And then that's the most common thing is to grow a clone from a baby. And then it would have to grow up to an adult. But with some clones, they say it's not an exact replica. And that would, I guess, when you look at Travis Scott and ASAP, I mean, it looks like a pretty close replica. I mean, so maybe they were practicing on growing full-size clones with them. I don't know. I mean, look, they might not even be clones. Like, I'm not even saying they are, because what we're doing right here is a brainstorm session. So we're just speculating and throwing stuff around in these brainstorm videos. So, not saying that they are clones. I'm not saying they're 100%. Oh, these are clones for sure. I'm just gonna point out some things and brainstorm on it. So basically, yeah, it looks like these guys are very similar looking, And that's the thing, like with a lot of the clones, sometimes I could find discrepancies, and or the artist might go away for a while and then they come back and people might notice missing tattoos, missing, this or that, little things. The nose might even be a little different, and there's slight differences people notice on a lot of these alleged clones sometimes, and so it's not always an exact replica. Um, I don't I don't see a whole lot of benefits of dealing with clones with these artists, unless it has to just do with practicing the craft. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's not really clear what their motive would be to clone artists to me. I mean, I'm just kind of like, I'm still trying to see where the huge benefit to these secret societies would be to clone artists. But I just know it probably has something to do with their deal and their soul. So basically, it looks like when these artists sign those deals, that's when it all begins. And sometimes, I mean, depending on what deal you sign, and there's something to this whole soul thing, because I have to remind people all the time, like in the Bible even, it says, do you not know that the Spirit of God dwells in you? So there's something in you, there's something in human beings that has to do with God. Like, you literally cannot tell, like, I've laid out that verse many times, just because if anyone opposes that scripture, and if I'm taking that out of context or anything, this is your time to, let me know, like, explain to me what I'm missing here. Because when it says that the Spirit of God dwells in you, do you not know that? It says, so basically, that's, and then we hear all the stories about the celebrities and how the music industry tries to trick them out of their souls. So there's something that we take with us. There's something inside of us that is, that's life. There's something that's in us that's life. And I break all that down in my soul playlist. So you can check that out too if you want to see more information about what I've uncovered about souls. But as far as the celebrities, like, that's the playlist I'll leave in the comment section in the description box, so you can see all my research about celebrities selling their souls, and the clones, everything I know about clones so far. So check that out. Let me know what you think. Do you think Travis Scott and ASAP are clones? And if so, why would, also, I really want to know, brainstorm in the comment section about why would the music industry be interested in cloning artists? Like, what are your thoughts on why would they want, like, what's their motive? So yeah, let me know all that in the comment section. Check out the link. Also, if you would like to help keep Feed Your Mind online, you can chip in as little as $1 to help keep things going here at Feed Your Mind. Maybe eventually I can go full time, especially on my Feed Your Mind 2 channel. Your support helps me on all 3 of my channels. So, and my Feed Your Mind 2 channel is where I put out my high quality content with lots of pictures, and I take, it's the series videos I put out on there, but I don't always have a lot of time because I work so much. So if you guys could help me go full time eventually, that'd be great. I also leave links to my other channels and my social media. So thank you for tuning in. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.